Okay.
It shows assuring on her end, and we have a purple turn.
Okay. Okay. So, um, EHR, EMR. Do you guys, I guess maybe we should introduce ourselves too, because then you all know where each other's at with EHRs. How many of you have EHRs that limit the copy and paste at all? They don't? It's wide open? I know I've heard people say that on Epic that they can actually go in and audit which parts have been copied in a patient's record.
And they could see, didn't they say they could tell a percentage of how much of that
Yes.
was actually copied as opposed to what is originated at the moment document?
Yeah. Yeah. So when she talked about auditing functions, that well, and yeah, we all know about templates and everything. Bless you. Yeah, if we only lived in an ideal world. I like that one the best. So, the there are definitely tools in the EHRs that make it easy to copy and paste. And so people, that's number 2 on the self-assessment, that it's definitely out there that providers do it. And I mean, you can see why they do it too, but thinking about how things should be to mitigate the risk. Let's go to that slide here. Yeah, so Jamie's saying a lot of the copying pasting depends on the age of the provider, which, yeah, I would say that's true. Yeah. Go ahead, Jamie.
I was thinking that a lot of the younger doctors want to use the templates and stuff that pull in all the data so that they don't have to be fake or redundant by going in and doing that. The only thing wrong with that is it pulls the data in and you might not necessarily review it all.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually talk to the physicians, a lot of times they say, yes, we're reviewing the data, but
well, yeah, and like the scenario she gave about, the patient had, the hypokalemia, and he had pasted in a lab result from a previous visit. He or she, the provider, the hospitalist on shift, and, had brought in that lab. So it's on 18 here. Minimizing the risk of copy paste, would be to limit the type of content that can be copied and set the EHR to auto-populate lab results, test results, and vitals from the most recent versions of these in the EHR instead of letting the providers copy paste them. So, yeah, if it brings that forward automatically, then they're not going to do that.
Why
So,
would you want that to happen anyway?
I would think then they're gonna have the same vitals every time too. It's gonna auto-populate and then they won't change
well, and
that
that's,
either any more than they're gonna change their copy
yeah,
and paste.
that was how they caught here it's on the previous slide. This is how common documentation risks, vital signs that never change from visit to visit. Information copied and pasted from a different patient record. Yeah.
I think
So the problem with that, if they have more than one patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they have more than one patient open at a time, it can create big issues. And I know, I forget which EHR it is, but there is another safeguard in one EHR I'm thinking of that it actually won't allow the provider to be in multiple records at the same time. They can only be in one patient record at a time. So, yeah, different. So I guess that's something as far as the functionality of your EHR, you would have to check with your vendor and see, if that can be locked down some, at least limit the type of content can be copied from one record to another. I think, it's like she was saying, you can't limit it completely. There's always going to be some, I think. But, so, did anyone else have anything in that first half? Yeah, slide 18 is really good. And slide 22, where I know AHIMA has done a lot with patient matching recently. And so this kind of goes along with that organizations must have a patient identity integrity program that includes performance improvement measurements that monitor percentage of error rates and duplicate records within its electronic master patient index. So, because just to show a quick hands, how many hospitals, organizations have biometrics, photography, or fingerprinting? Oh, you do? And so do you guys use it then? They do? That's awesome.
That they're actually like wound clinic, they're actually pulling the documentation of the wound, a picture of the wound into their notes. So as you're
Okay.
reading it, you can see what they're talking about.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Robin's saying they do fingerprint.
Oh, so they do have fingerprinting.
Methodist. No, not Methodist does.
Okay,
Huh.
cool.
I think that's coming in more into play because of identity theft.
Yes.
Somebody else's medical card.
Coming into play because of identity theft.
And stuff like that they're intentionally misleading us.
Yes. Yep.
We're going to come to one day where, they can just go in, they'll take your blood, run your DNA and.
Scan your retinas and.
Well, I mean, think about they caught that, this is kind of.
Yeah,
They caught the.
serial killer
because a
in
cop
California.
went to one of the, swab your cheeks, get your genealogy, and were able to track that back, which is cool. I'm glad they found it, but does it also make me just a slight bit uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, it was good in this situation, but I need a kidney. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we're on the precipice of that, you know, but is that going to be to, you know, mitigate these risks that you're
Yeah.
going to have to, you know,
And
thumbprint blood?
I have not seen this toolkit, but I definitely want to look it up now with the AHIMA toolkit amendments in the electronic health record, that even deletions and I mean, it's common sense to all of us health information people, but I can see where other healthcare people might not get why that's so important, that addendums, corrections, deletions, and patient amendments should be included. So, as defined by HIPAA, it's been that way forever, since Grace Myers. No. So, and audits, just to be able to ensure the audit trail must capture what is amended, including deletions, within the health record and provide auditors with a starting point for compliance audits. So that's, yeah. So I would say for the self-assessment, 1, documentation integrity involves the accuracy of the complete health record. I would say true. Electronic tools make it easy to copy and paste documentation from one record to another. True. Without, I would say safeguards. I was questioning safeguards or audits. But without safeguards in place, records could reflect an inaccurate picture of the patient's condition. 4, atypical patients may have problems that must be documented in detail, and this can be a limitation for template documentation. True. 5, copy and paste continues to be a significant problem that creates unnecessary redundancy. 6, documentation integrity is at risk when the wrong information is documented on the wrong patient health record. 7, data integrity is of extreme importance because it's used to identify and track patients as they move from one level of care to another. True. 8, what function needs to be in place to ensure compliant billing? She said auditing. And I don't know, do all the coders in the room say maybe query? I was kind of torn on that one too.
Okay, audit.
Yeah, okay, so audits. 9, appropriate use of the EHR leads to documentation of inaccurate or outdated information. False. Limiting the type of content that can be copied from one record to the other is a way to mitigate risk in EHR. True. True. So, yeah, she had lots of good references here too on the resource list. So I would definitely, I'm going to look up some of those toolkits, that's for sure, and everything. Okay, so I am going to close that. I'm sorry, everybody. And I'm going to pull up this.
We're at 249.
249. Okay, so we got 10 minutes yet. And can you see the slide then that I'm?
See a portion of the slide. See you going up. There you go.
Well, it's, yeah, so let's see, my view, if I zoom up, view, there, that's good. Okay, so if you were at the annual meeting, perhaps you heard Tammy last Tuesday afternoon, And like I mentioned, be thinking of if there's a specific topic around clinical documentation improvement. We have Tammy on October 18th from 1 to 3. She is going to present virtually for us. So it won't be a recording, but you're welcome to come in person or join us virtually. And she'll be live and has asked for the specific topic that we want her to present on. So her presentation last Tuesday was just phenomenal. She went through so much. This is just an outline of what she went through, but I wanted to hit the high points really quickly, and I will forward this if you want me to, along with the AHIMA one. Tammy's from AHIMA, but anyway, the 7 characteristics of high quality clinical documentation. I think that was huge. So it starts out, I guess I think of 1 as consistent, 2 timely, clear, precise, legible, reliable, and complete. So those are the 7 things you need to have in place for high quality clinical documentation. If they could all do that when in an ideal world. So I wanted to mention that and touch on that slide. Oh, and then MEET. I don't remember ever hearing of this acronym before.
I like that one.
Has anyone else ever heard of this before? Oh, okay, of course.
Well,
There's always one. No.
It was in one of my classes for the
Oh.
master's program. They had a whole.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's fairly new to the team.
It must be. And she wasn't able to authenticate where it came from, but you know, because Tammy wanted to give credit to whoever it came from, but so MEET stands for conditions measured, evaluated, assessed, and treated. And yeah, I think it is really good.
We're getting multiple requests for copies of these.
Yes.
So if we have your email and can identify
Yes.
you as a participant.
I'll send it to everyone along with the other slides.
No.
So then the next one I wanted to highlight, and again, this Tammy was speaking specifically on outpatient. So the things I'm trying to highlight here are good for anything because inpatient have problem lists too. But so she's got the problems of the problem list on the left and the resource, the good things, because she said she worked with a physician at one place where she worked, and that physician wanted to use the problem list, and they actually did it on a consistent basis and were able to get it to the point where it was usable and had integrity and was validated. And her point then with that was it can be a good thing to facilitate continuity of patient care, continuity of patient care, provide a comprehensive list in one place, assist in patient care and secondary data reporting, and be used as a communication tool between providers. But the problem, we all know, the problem with the problem list is when it's not valid, it doesn't have integrity. There's things from 10 years ago on there that's not relevant at all. So that was the Yeah, and ask individuals who identify. Oh, I'll do that at the end, right?
Because we're at 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, real quick. So then she also talked about, I did the problem list, the, creating accurate problem lists, the benefits to that then, or how you do that: develop clear and detailed policies, authorization to add, update, and resolve problems in the problem list, types of problems, identify them, detailed workflow, and accountability for maintaining the list. And I think that's probably the biggest issue, is you have to identify who's accountable for.
Who's the captain
Yes.
of that ship?
Okay, and then there was a lot of stuff about MACRA and MIPS, which is huge on the provider scene, and which you would be of interest to you if you have integrated providers in your health system. But then she talked about denials, and these are like the top 4 things with denied claims: medical necessity, missing documentation, missing clinical evidence, treatment, and inaccurate code assignment. So, and her recommendations. Oh, just everything we've talked about here. You know, making sure your data is correct and has integrity. So I will stop sharing, and we will email those out to everyone. Carol's asking me to make sure that everyone, to get the CEU information, if you did not type your name in, your full name in, because we tried to take attendance virtually too. So the person who's in is medical records integrity. If you want to just send us an email or a chat, then we can make sure you get the CEU information to you. But otherwise, it's 2:58. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone in person too. And I'm glad we got the technical issues ironed out. Remember, October 18th from 1 to 3 will be our fall session. And if you have suggestions for specific topics around CDI, just say them now or email me, and we'll get Tammy to speak on that. I think it'll be really good. So we will sign off and say thank you very much.